Hi, I'm Madison today. I'm going to read you the story of Chloe, which is titled like this. I forgot to tell my family. I installed security cameras when I checked what my sister and her husband were doing in my house. I froze. You have 1 week to fix everything, I said. They laughed at me, so I called the police. Well, let's go. My name's Olivia. I'm 36 years old, and I work as a financial director at one of those big industrial companies downtown 4 years ago. I finally had enough saved up for a down payment on a house. Nothing fancy, just a 3-bedroom place in a quiet neighborhood, still paying off that mortgage. But it's mine. My parents, Brenda and Thomas, retired about 2 years ago. Dad worked construction. His whole life, Mom was a nurse. Their pensions aren't great. So I help out. Well, helped out, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Then there's my sister Haley, 7 years younger than me, which makes her 29, got married last year. To this guy named Brandon. Real charmer. That one you'll see what I mean. I've been Haley's personal bank since I got my first real job after college. She was still in high school. Then always needing money for something new, clothes, concert tickets, whatever teenagers want. I didn't mind big sister duty, right? But the thing is, she never stopped asking even after she graduated, got her own job at some marketing firm. The requests just got bigger. Olivia, I need a new haircut from that expensive salon. Olivia, my friends and I want to try that new restaurant. Olivia, Brandon and I can't quite make rent this month. My typical month looked like this: pay my mortgage, pay my parents' utilities, send them grocery money, pay Haley and Brandon's rent, and then whatever random request Haley came up with, I was basically supporting 4 adults plus myself. But here's the thing, I could afford it. The job paid well. I didn't have kids, didn't date much. What else was I going to spend it on then? About 3 months ago, our neighborhood started having problems, break-ins, thefts, the whole deal. I called Safeguard Security, this company. My coworker recommended. The guy who came out was super thorough. You want just the basics, or the full package, he asked. What's the full package? Cameras around the whole perimeter, motion sensors, cameras, inside the main areas. Everything uploads to cloud storage. You can watch live from your phone. Let's do it, I said. Better safe than sorry. They installed everything the next week. 8 cameras inside for outside the app on my phone showed me every angle of my house. Pretty cool, actually. I could check if I'd left the garage door open or see when packages got delivered. I didn't mention it to my family. Not for any particular reason, just didn't come up. They didn't visit that often anyway. And when they did, who sits around talking about security cameras? About 2 weeks after the installation, I came home from work on a Tuesday. Something felt off the second I walked in. Nothing obvious. Just that feeling like someone had been there. You know what I mean? Like the air was different or something. My coffee mug wasn't where I'd left it on the counter. The throw pillows on the couch looked like they'd been moved. Little things that made me pause. You're being paranoid. I told myself too many true crime podcasts, but the feeling stuck with me. I even walked through the house twice, checking windows, making sure the back door was locked. Everything seemed fine. I made dinner, watched some Netflix, went to bed. A few days passed. Normal stuff. Work was busy with quarter-end reports, so I was staying late most nights, coming home exhausted. The weird feeling from that Tuesday faded. Then came the corporate party incident. 3 weeks after that weird Tuesday, our company was having this fancy dinner thing, black tie optional. I remembered this gorgeous silver handbag I bought about a year ago. Spent way too much on it. One of those designer things. But I'd seen it in the store window, and just had to have it. Only used it once to my cousin's wedding. I went to my closet where I kept my good bags on the top shelf. It wasn't there. Okay, maybe I moved it. I thought I pulled everything out of that closet, checked the guest room closet, the hall closet under my bed. the garage where I had some boxes of old stuff. Nothing, I was going crazy looking for this thing. It was a Friday night party. It was Saturday, I called Haley. Hey, did I ever lend you my silver clutch, the Prada one? What, no? Why would you even ask that? She sounded offended. I can't find it anywhere, thought. Maybe I'd let you borrow it and forgot Olivia. If you'd lent me a Prada bag, I'd definitely remember and I'd have returned it. I'm not irresponsible. Okay, sorry. I must have put it somewhere weird. Maybe you threw it out by accident. She suggested you did that big declutter last year. Remember? Maybe she was right. I had done a massive cleanup, donated a bunch of stuff. Maybe the bag got mixed in. Somehow I ended up buying a different bag for the party, but it bugged me that silver clutch had cost me $800 life. Went on another few weeks passed. Work got busier. As we headed into the final quarter, I was practically living at the office, leaving at 8 or 9 most nights. Weekends were for catching up on laundry and sleep. Then came the watch incident. My grandparents, Mom's parents, had given me this watch for my college graduation. It wasn't super expensive like a Rolex or anything, but it was nice Swiss-Aid classic design. More importantly, it was from them, and they'd both passed away a few years ago. I kept it in my home office in the desk drawer in its original box. I didn't wear it often, but I liked knowing it was there. I was doing a deep clean one Saturday. You know, the kind where you actually move furniture and vacuum behind things. I was organizing my desk drawers when I opened the one with the watch box. The box was there, the watch wasn't. I stood there staring at the empty box like an idiot. Like if I looked long enough, the watch would materialize. I tore that office apart, moved the desk, completely checked every drawer 3 times, looked in every room of the house. That watch was gone. I made myself a cup of coffee and sat down to think. Really think first. The feeling that someone had been in my house, then the missing handbag. Now the missing watch, once as an accident, twice as a coincidence, 3 times as a pattern. Someone was taking my things, but how the house was always locked. I had an alarm system. The only people with keys were my parents. Had a spare set, I'd given it to them when I bought the house. 4 years ago for emergencies, I'd said, no way my family wouldn't steal from me, would they? Then I remembered the cameras. I opened my laptop and logged into the Safeguard app. All the footage was stored in the cloud for 90 days. I started scrolling back through the dates, looking for anything suspicious. 3 days ago when I was at work, the motion sensor triggered the front door camera at 2:47 p.m. I clicked on the footage. 2 people walked up to my front door. They used a key to open it. They walked in like they owned the place. I zoomed in on their faces, even though I already knew who it was. Haley and Brandon. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, watching my sister and her husband walk through my house like they belonged there. My hands were shaking. The timestamp said 2:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. I was at work in a budget meeting. They knew I'd be at work. Of course, they knew. I watched Haley go straight to my bedroom while Brandon wandered into the living room. She was going through my closet, pulling things out, examining them. She held up a sweater, showed it to Brandon when he came in. They were talking, laughing in my bedroom, going through my things, laughing. She put the sweater in a bag she brought. Then she went to my jewelry box on the dresser. I watched her pick through it, selecting pieces, showing them to Brandon, like they were shopping at a store. I felt sick. I scrolled back further 2 weeks earlier. Another visit. This time they spent longer, maybe 40 minutes. Haley went through my home office while Brandon checked out the garage. I watched her open the desk drawer, take out the watch box, look at the watch. She called Brandon over. He examined it, nodded, and she put it in her purse. I kept scrolling. Another visit 3 weeks before that. The day I'd felt like someone had been in my house. They'd been here for over an hour that time. Haley went through my bathroom cabinets, my kitchen drawers, even my laundry room. She took a perfume bottle, some makeup, a pair of running shoes. I barely worn the handbag. I found that footage too, 6 weeks ago. Haley trying it on, posing with it in my mirror, while Brandon gave her a thumbs up. Then into their bag, it went. How long had this been going on? I checked the earliest footage available. They'd been coming here since the week after I'd installed the cameras, maybe longer, but I'd never know about anything before the cameras. I made a spreadsheet. Yeah, I know finance director going to finance, but I needed to document everything, date, time, items taken. By the time I finished, I had 12. Separate incidents, documented jewelry, clothes, electronics, even some of my good wine from the rack in the kitchen. The total value at least $10,000, maybe more. I called Haley. Hey, can you and Brandon come over for dinner tomorrow night? I want to catch up. They showed up right on time. Brandon carrying a chocolate cake from the grocery store. Haley hugged me like nothing was wrong. We sat down to eat. I'd made pasta. Nothing fancy. I watched them closely. Were they checking out my stuff even now? Haley's eyes did linger on my new laptop bag by the door halfway through dinner. I couldn't take it anymore. Some of my things have gone missing, I said, watching their faces. Haley paused with her fork halfway to her mouth. Brandon took a sudden interest in his wine glass. Missing, Haley said after a beat. What kind of things? My silver handbag, grandmother's watch, some other stuff. Oh, Olivia, Haley said, relaxing visibly. You're always misplacing things. Remember when you thought you'd lost your car keys and they were in the refrigerator? That was one time. And I was 22 still. You work so much. You're probably just tired and putting things in weird places. I slammed my fist on the table. They both jumped. I know it was you. I said, I know you've been coming here and taking my things. Haley's face went red. What, that's crazy. How dare you accuse us of stealing? Brandon laughed, actually laughed. You got any proof of that? Because that's a pretty serious accusation to make without proof. The smugness in his voice made me want to throw my wine in his face. I want everything back. I said everything you took, or I'm calling the police. Haley and Brandon looked at each other, then burst out laughing. You're gonna call the police on your own sister? Haley said, please, you won't do that. Besides, Brandon added, so what if we took a few things? You can afford it. You should have offered us more money anyway. You know we're struggling. I got laid off 2 months ago. You got laid off 2 months ago and didn't tell me, why would we? Haley said. So you could lecture us about responsibility? We manage fine by stealing from me. Oh, please, it's not stealing. We're family. What's yours is mine, right? That's what family does. Get out of my house, I said quietly. They left, still laughing. Brandon calling back that I needed to chill out and stop being so dramatic. The second they were gone, I called my mother, Mom. Haley and Brandon have been stealing from me. They've been coming into my house when I'm at work and taking my things. What, Olivia? That's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous, it's true. And if they don't return everything or pay me back, I'm going to the police. There was silence on the other end, then Mom's voice cold and hard. You will not involve the police in family business. Your sister makes less money than you. You buy all these expensive things, flaunting them. Can you blame her for being tempted? Are you seriously defending theft right now? It's not theft. You're being dramatic. And if you go to the police, your father and I will cut you off completely. No contact. Is that what you want? She hung up on me. I sat there in shock. My mother had just threatened to disown me for wanting to report a crime. I spent the next hour editing the security footage into a single video, showing every incident: Haley and Brandon entering my house, taking things, leaving with bags full of my belongings. Crystal clear evidence. I sent it to Haley, Brandon, and my parents with a message return. Everything, or pay me $10,000 for what you stole. You have 1 week, or I go to the police. My phone immediately exploded with calls and texts. I didn't answer any of them. Haley's texts were the worst. You filmed me without permission. That's illegal. I'll sue you. Moms were all about family loyalty and how I was betraying them. Dad texted once. Very disappointed in you. The locksmith came at 8 the next morning. 3 hours and $600 later, every lock was changed. I didn't make spare keys for anyone this time. The texts kept coming all week. Haley switched between anger and manipulation. How could you do this to family? Then I'm your baby sister. Doesn't that mean anything? Then back to your pathetic witch who films people. Illegally? Mom's messages were worse. You're tearing this family apart. Your father can't sleep because of your selfishness. We didn't raise you to be this cruel. Wednesday, I got a call from Aunt Carol. Mom's sister, Olivia. Your mother tells me you're having some kind of breakdown threatening Haley with the police. What's going on? Haley stole from me. Aunt Carol, I have it on video. That's ridiculous. Haley wouldn't steal. You must be mistaken. I hung up. No point arguing with someone who'd already made up their mind. Thursday came and went. Nothing from Haley or my parents, except more nasty messages Mom had now added that I was mentally unstable and needed professional help. Friday morning, day 7. No money, no returned items. Just a text from Haley. You're bluffing. You'd never actually call the police on family. I drove to the police station on my lunch break. The officer at the desk, a younger guy named Officer Harris, took my statement. I showed him the edited video on my phone. This is pretty clear evidence. He said, do you know the current location of the stolen items? Probably at their apartment or my parents' house. We'll send officers to talk to them. If the items are recovered, you'll need to identify them. If not, this becomes a more complex theft case. I gave him Haley and Brandon's address, then went back to work at 6 that evening. I was making dinner when someone started pounding on my door. Olivia, open this door right now. My father's voice angrier than I'd ever heard it. Olivia, please, Mom was crying. They arrested Haley and Brandon. How could you? I didn't open the door, just stood on the other side. They're thieves. I said through the door. Thieves get arrested. She's your sister. Mom wailed, and that should have meant something to her when she was robbing me. This is cruel. You're cruel. Dad shouted. If you want them out. Return my money, $10,000 for what they stole. That's extortion. Dad yelled. No, it's restitution. Your choice. They kept yelling for another 10 minutes before finally leaving. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed a transfer notification, $10,000 from my parents' account to mine. Saturday morning, I went back to the police station and withdrew my complaint. Charges dropped. Officer Harris said they'll be released shortly. I went home and did something I'd been thinking about all week. I canceled everything. The automatic transfers for my parents' bills, the monthly grocery money, Haley and Brandon's rent payment. Then I blocked everyone. Phone, email, social media, everything. Complete radio silence. 2 weeks later, Aunt Carol called from a different number. Olivia, I owe you an apology. Haley and Brandon moved in with your parents. They couldn't afford rent anymore. Your mom finally told me the whole story, showed me the video you sent. I can't believe they actually did that. Yeah. Well, there's more. My daughter Sophia just remembered that her gold bracelet went missing after Haley visited her last year. And your Uncle Larry thinks some tools disappeared from his garage after Brandon helped him with a project. So I'm not the only one, no, and now nobody wants them at their houses. Your parents are pretty isolated right now. They're defending Haley, so the family is keeping distance. Wow. Your mom asks about you. She says, Haley's been looking for work but can't find anything. They're all struggling without your help. That's not my problem anymore. I understand. I just thought you should know." After she hung up, I sat back and thought about everything. Did I feel guilty? Maybe a little, but mostly I felt free for years. I'd been bankrolling 4 adults who were perfectly capable of taking care of themselves. I'd enabled them to be irresponsible, and they'd gotten so comfortable with it that they felt entitled to just take what they wanted. The theft wasn't really about the money or the things, it was about respect. They didn't respect me, my property, or my generosity. They saw me as a resource to exploit, not a person. To appreciate, my phone rang, unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won Olivia Mom's voice using someone else's phone. I hung up immediately. She didn't get it. None of them did. This wasn't about money or things or even the theft itself. It was about finally understanding that the family I'd been killing myself to support saw me as nothing more than a wallet with legs. Well, this wallet was closed permanently. 3 months have passed since I cut them off. 3 peaceful, drama-free months. At first, I kept expecting to cave every time I'd see a family at a restaurant or hear a coworker talk about their parents. I'd feel this pang of guilt. Was I being too harsh? Should I reach out? Then I'd remember Haley laughing in my face while sitting at my dinner table eating food I'd cooked after stealing from me for months. I'd remember Brandon's smug voice saying, "I should have given them more money." I'd remember Mom defending theft because Haley earned less than me. The guilt would disappear pretty quick after that Aunt Carol became my only connection to what was happening with them. She'd call every few weeks with updates I hadn't asked for, but couldn't help listening to Haley got a job at a call center. She told me last week, part-time minimum wage. Brandon's still unemployed. They're all crammed in your parents' house, and it's causing friction good for them. I said, meaning, it maybe they'd finally learn what it meant to work for what they wanted. Your mom's working part-time now, too. Grocery store cashier. Your dad's picking up handyman jobs where he can... That one hurt a little. They were in their 70s. But then I remembered they'd chosen this. They'd chosen Haley's theft over my trust. They'd paid $10,000 to keep her out of jail instead of making her face consequences. Olivia, Aunt Carol said carefully, "I know it's not my business, but don't you think it's been long enough they're struggling, Aunt Carol? I supported them for years, and what did I get robbed and then told? I was crazy for being upset about it." She sighed. "I understand what they did was wrong, but they're family. So as I didn't stop them 2 weeks ago. I got a letter, actual mail, since I blocked all electronic communication. Haley's handwriting, Olivia. I'm sorry. I know what we did was wrong. Brandon convinced me you had so much that you wouldn't notice I was jealous of your nice things and your beautiful house. But that's no excuse. I'm working now, trying to pay Mom and Dad back for the money they sent you. It'll take me years. But I'm trying. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry, Haley." I read it 3 times. Part of me wanted to believe it. The other part noticed. She blamed Brandon, said she was jealous, made excuses even while apologizing, and nowhere did she offer to actually make things right with me directly. I threw the letter away yesterday. Something interesting happened. I was at work when security called up Miss Olivia. "There's a Brenda here to see you. Says she's your mother." My stomach clenched. "Tell her I'm not available." She says, "She'll wait." Tell her. She can wait all day. I won't see her an hour later. Security called again. She's still here. She asked me to tell you. She has something for you. I almost caved. Almost. I don't care if she's not gone in 10 minutes. Call the police for trespassing. She left last night. I found a box on my doorstep. No note. But I recognize Mom's careful packing inside were some of my things. The silver handbag, grandmother's watch, a few pieces of jewelry, maybe a quarter of what was stolen. It was something, I guess. But it wasn't enough, not nearly enough. The thing is, I don't want the stuff back. I mean, I do. Especially the watch. But that's not really what this is about anymore. I want acknowledgement. Real acknowledgement, not, we're sorry you're upset, or we're sorry, but you have more than us. Or we're sorry, but family should share. I want, we're sorry. We betrayed your trust, stole from you, called you crazy, threatened to disown you, and chose theft over honesty. But I know I'll never get that they're not capable of it in their minds. They're still the victims. I'm the daughter and sister with the good job who selfishly cut them off over a misunderstanding. My therapist says I'm doing well. Yeah, I started therapy, figured I should talk to someone about why I'd let myself be used for so long. You were the parentified child, she explained, always responsible, always taking care of everyone else. It became your identity, and Haley was the baby exactly, and that dynamic never changed even when you both became adults, so what now? I'd asked her now. You learn to have boundaries. You learn that love doesn't mean letting people hurt you. You learn that you're worth more than what you can provide. It's been hard. There are days when I want to call them, especially mom days, when I remember teaching Haley to ride a bike, or dad helping me with math homework. Good memories that make me question everything. But then I remember that they made their choice when forced to choose between their daughters. They chose the thief. When forced to choose between accountability and enabling, they chose enabling. When forced to choose between honesty and delusion, they chose delusion. I made my choice too. I chose myself for the first time in my life. I chose myself. My house is quiet now. No unexpected visits, no drama, no one going through my things. I changed my emergency contact at work to Nicole. I'm dating someone new. A guy named Ethan who pays for his own dinners and has never once asked me for money. You don't talk about your family much, he said on our last date. There's not much to say. We're estranged now, it's just life. And that's the truth. This is my life now. I work. I see friends, I date, I go to therapy. I live in my house that no one else has keys to. It's quieter than before, but it's also more honest. Do I regret going to the police? No. That was the wake-up call everyone needed. Do I regret cutting them off sometimes late at night when I'm feeling lonely? But then morning comes, and I remember that being alone is better than being used. Aunt Carol told me, Mom's been telling everyone, I'll come around eventually, that I'll forgive and forget like I always do. She's wrong. The old Olivia would have the one who paid everyone's bills and ignored being taken advantage of. But that Olivia is gone. She had to be. She was killing herself, trying to support people who saw her as nothing more than a bank account. This Olivia, the one who stands up for herself, who demands respect, who refuses to be stolen from this. Olivia is here to stay. I don't need their apologies anymore. I don't need their acknowledgement. I don't need anything from them at all. For the first time in my life, I'm free and I'm never going back.